Remember the 60s, the civil rights movement, people marching for equality? That fight's not over. It's still happening today. But this time, it's about more than just rights. It's about righting the wrongs of the past. It's about reparations. For centuries, cultures have been exploited. Their music, their art, their very essence, stolen. Like a virus, this exploitation has spread across the globe, leaving behind a trail of poverty, inequality, and resentment. Think about it. How many times have we seen black artists' music appropriated without credit or compensation? How often are indigenous designs ripped off by fashion giants? This isn't just about history, it's about the present. It's about the systemic racism and cultural appropriation that continues to this day. It's about time we address the elephant in the room, the massive debt owed to marginalized communities for centuries of exploitation. This is the fight for reparations, and it's a fight we can't afford to lose. Let's talk music. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, right? But hold on, ever heard of Big Mama Thornton? She sang Hound Dog years before Elvis, but who really got the fame and fortune? This story repeats itself throughout history. White artists profiting off black creativity, leaving the originators in the dust. And it's not just music. The fashion industry is notorious for this. Designers often draw inspiration from indigenous cultures, but inspiration quickly turns into appropriation when profits flow one way and credit is conveniently forgotten. Indigenous communities are left fighting for recognition, for respect, for their own heritage. This isn't just about individual artists or designers. It's about a system that devalues entire cultures for profit. It's about recognizing the invisible labor and stolen genius that fuels so much of our world. So, what are people asking for? Reparations. It's not about handouts or pity, it's about acknowledging the debt owed and taking concrete steps to repair the damage. Take CARICOM, the Caribbean community. They're demanding $14 trillion from former colonial powers. That's not a random number. It reflects centuries of slavery, exploitation, and underdevelopment. And it's not like there's no precedent. Germany has paid billions to Namibia for its role in the genocide of the Herero and Namakwa people. Reparations aren't about bankrupting nations, they're about investing in justice, in equality, in a future where everyone has a fair shot. They're about finally addressing the root causes of so much global inequality. Now, not everyone's on board with reparations. Some say it's too difficult to calculate who owes what, or that it's been too long. Others argue it'll create division and resentment. They say it's time to move on, to focus on the future. But here's the thing, we can't move on from a past we haven't addressed. Ignoring injustice doesn't make it disappear. It festers, it grows, and it continues to poison the present. Those who oppose reparations often benefit from the very systems that reparations seek to dismantle. They fear change because it threatens their privilege. Reparations aren't about punishing anyone alive today. They're about righting historical wrongs and creating a more just future for everyone. It's about acknowledging that the past isn't really past, it's present in the inequalities we see all around us. A global chorus for justice, from streets to screens, the fight for reparations is gaining momentum. From the streets of Minneapolis to the villages of Nigeria, people are rising up demanding justice. The Black Lives Matter movement brought the issue of racial injustice to the forefront, sparking conversations about reparations on a global scale. In Nigeria, the #EndSARS protests against police brutality highlighted the urgent need for accountability and redress for colonial-era atrocities. These movements are connected. They're part of a global awakening, a recognition that the fight for justice transcends borders. People are realizing that the systems of oppression are interconnected, and so must be our resistance. This is a global movement for change. It's about reclaiming power, demanding accountability, and creating a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Social media, the new battleground for reparations. And guess what's fueling this global movement? Social media. It's the new town square, the global megaphone. It allows us to connect, to organize, to amplify our voices like never before. Hashtags like #ReparationsNow and #JusticeFor, insert wrong community here, are raising awareness and mobilizing people around the world. Social media gives a platform to those who've been silenced for too long. It allows us to bypass traditional media, to control our own narratives, and to build solidarity across continents. We're seeing the power of social media to educate, to inspire, to hold those in power accountable. It's a tool for change, and we're just beginning to tap into its potential. Reparations, a path to healing and equity. Now let's be clear, reparations are not just about money. They're about justice, they're about healing, they're about acknowledging the humanity of those who have been denied it for so long. Imagine a world where the descendants of slaves have access to the same opportunities as everyone else. Imagine indigenous communities thriving, their cultures celebrated and respected. Imagine a world where the playing field is finally leveled, where everyone has a chance to succeed. That's the promise of reparations. It's about creating a more equitable and just world for generations to come. It's about righting the wrongs of the past to build a better future for everyone. Beyond charity, reparations as an investment in the future. Let's be clear, reparations are not about charity. This isn't about pity or handouts, it's an investment in our collective future. When we invest in marginalized communities, we all benefit. We unlock potential. We create a more just and equitable society. We build a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Think of it this way, reparations are like paying back a debt with interest. It's about recognizing that the prosperity of some has come at the expense of others, and it's about finally balancing the scales. Reparations are not a handout, they're an investment in a better future for all of us. Conclusion: join the fight for reparations. The fight for reparations is a fight for justice, it's a fight for equality, it's a fight for the soul of humanity, and it's a fight we must win. This isn't just about the past, it's about the present and the future we're building together. We all have a role to play in this fight. Educate yourself, amplify marginalized voices, support organizations fighting for justice. The time for talk is over, it's time for action. Join the movement, demand reparations. Because justice delayed is justice denied. Let's make history together. Let's build a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Let's fight for reparations. Edij, Xperience, explore, engage, elevate.